It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show.
Yeah. Y'all must have forgot I'm on my Roy Jones. Flow terminally ill, talking full blown. The Ghost Rider, I wrote the script to your tombstone. Kill your favorite rappers at tandems, call it a group home. I've been keeping it discreet, but this shit ain't sweet. Once I hit my motor, start to reach. Niggas shit, they breach. I got songs in like 200 shows, what I gotta lead. Pull a nigga name up on the sheet and it's bon appetit. Fucking with the wrong one, I hope you got a strong gun. Every verse I'm going on them, they call me the Shogun. Pull a beat, 15 minutes, bet I get this song done. I can't trust a rap nigga that's stepping with his toes done. Fuck 'em out. Shout the Lord done it all. I'm Barry Sanders. I'm juking niggas from the coin toss. I'ma run the ball. That's 6 points. I get the money off the ripple when my pinpoints. Pinpoint precision. Envision me on my rich boy. These on the bit. Trigger finger if it's itchy. I might squeeze on the flip. Bullets coming with a name. Let you bleed on the tip. Put a nigga in the box. Then I'm fleeing on the trip. I'm too king for me to slip. I want Parmesan. I Parmesan. I walk in the alarms on. I'm barking like a dog. And now your bones are what I'm chomping on. Sun down, bitch. I'm back to bending like it's Ramadan. Yo, 15 minutes was broad, it's like a calling card. No mean to ramble, this shit is like a free sample. I'm here to make an example, these appetizers ain't ample enough. Fire like a candle, I'm up, right from the panel I jump. Back in this shit, entertaining y'all on my channel, I'm the main event. Learn to use my voice so I could pay the rent. Nigga talking shit behind the phone that they ain't pay to get. Drop and give me 50, nigga, I get on my trainer shit. I don't do no freestyle, tell me I get paid to spit.
What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Now, in this video, we're going to be piggybacking off of yesterday. You know, we talked about Drake's lawsuit, defamation lawsuit over Not Like Us, harassment, and all of those different things. New York Business Code, law. Whole thing got tossed out, completely thrown out. Not one of his claims survived the motion for dismissal. The judge granted it. It was a big celebration. There's people out there that say October 9th needs to be a national holiday. So we'll see how we handle that moving on in the future. But in this video, I want to address a little bit of the aftermath that came after the judge decision hit the net. Everybody was able to gain access to it. You know, we read the filing. A lot of people have read the filing online, other channels, etc. Everybody's giving their feedback. But I want to cover just a few reactions that have hit the net. The first reaction I want to hit is Drake's team. Because apparently they are not content with the judge's decision. So they have issued a statement that they will be trying to file with the Court of Appeals in order to get this lawsuit reinstated, reopened, and pursued further. Do I think it'll be successful? No. But apparently, at Drake's request, they're going to at least attempt to. So here we are over on Hot New Hip Hop. They say Drake's team responds after judge dismisses lawsuit against Universal Music Group. We intend to appeal. Okay? So the full statement is, we intend to appeal today's ruling and we look forward to the Court of Appeals reviewing it, the statement reads. Moreover, this signals that Drake isn't backing down despite the court's decision. In his original complaint filed in January, Drake accused UMG of allegedly manipulating the song's success and fueling a false and malicious narrative that painted him as a predator following his highly publicized feud with Lamar. The court ultimately ruled that the lyrics in question constituted non-actionable opinion and proved UMG's motion to dismiss. While the ruling is a setback for Drake, the spokesperson's statement makes clear that the rapper is not backing down and intends to have the case reviewed. Here we have Kirko, which is a very pro-Drake page online, although they tried to disguise it. They say Drake essentially claimed that UMG had fueled false narratives and artificially inflated the success of Kendrick Lamar's viral diss track Not Like Us. The court ruled that the lyrics in question were non-actionable opinion. Once again, they're repeating themselves. Okay? The artist's 7-track rap battle was a war of words that was the subject of substantial media scrutiny and online discourse. The judge wrote, although the accusation that plaintiff is a PDF is certainly a serious one, the broader context of a heated rap battle with incendiary language and offensive accusations hurled by both participants would not incline the reasonable listener to believe that Not Like Us imparts verifiable facts about plaintiff. Okay? Now, I pointed this out yesterday, but I want to hone in on that statement from the judge once more. Okay? About the reasonable listener. She said, the artist's 7-track rap battle was a war of words that was the subject of substantial media scrutiny and online discourse. Okay? This is something we've been talking about for a year. The fact that it was a rap battle and Drake wanted to isolate Not Like Us as a singular part, as if Kendrick Lamar woke up on a random day and decided to just start calling him the worst thing he possibly could out of nowhere. As if there was no exchange, no nothing. The judge pointed out that both artists said inflammatory statements and partook in a rap battle where this type of language and offensive accusations are expected from both parties. As anybody that's witnessed a rap battle in your life, especially coming from the artist who claimed that he studied rap battles for a living, who was rumored to want to actually get on the URL stage and battle rap legend Murder Mook once upon a time. Just imagine what that nigga would have said about your ass on that stage. He decided to completely overlook this tradition of how rap battles are conducted to benefit himself, right? And I saw somebody who I want to speak to here that said, and I think that this is it's a very minority purview, but one that exists nonetheless. I saw somebody say that with this decision, it sets the precedent that you could say anything and defame somebody as long as it is in a song. And I want to be very clear that that is completely false. The fact that it was in a song was not the deciding factor for the judge. It's the fact that they both were making songs disrespecting each other with offensive language, fiery rhetoric, rhetorical hyperbole. These are words that the judge used specifically. The judge also pointed out how Drake also made allegations against Kendrick Lamar, as in calling him a wife beater, questioning the paternity of one of his children. This is not me saying it. This is not the internet saying it. That's what y'all wanted to lean on for nearly a year. This is what the judge said. So let's not be stupid. You know what I'm saying? Let's use our thinking caps. This is why we have them. Because if the judge would have used Drake's submission that Kendrick Lamar called him a PDF out of nowhere, if there were no rap battle present and the song existed on its own merit, he would have had a stronger case, which is exactly why he wanted them to proceed without actually using the song in the context of a rap battle, which would have taken away all of the necessary information to understand how we even got there in the first place. They wanted it to be a completely isolated event, like nothing pre-existed it, or there was nothing surrounding why Kendrick would say these things about him or say his name in a song at all, right? So let's use them. Furthermore, the judge explained in the paperwork, I challenge anybody who is somehow against the decision, go read it. There's ways to obtain this paperwork for free. There's people that are literally spreading links that you can go click on. And I want you to read for understanding. Okay? The judge also stated that there was no grounds of Kendrick utilizing undisclosed facts to support his bars in Not Like Us, right? Now, Drake, in his lawsuit, in his allegations, him and his legal team came up with the idea that Kendrick Lamar was utilizing some sort of undisclosed facts. And they pointed to certain bars throughout the rap beef that pointed out that perhaps he had more information that would indemnify or incriminate Drake, right? Such as don't tell lies about me and I won't tell truths about you. Such as rabbit hole goes deep, we could go further, I promise. Those were the bars that Drake and his legal team were leaning on to say, hey, he's trying to utilize undisclosed facts. And I'm guessing their purpose of saying that he was using undisclosed facts was basically to try to bring someone in to find out where he got this information from, right? And to say, look, he's purposely utilizing lies that he obtained from someone else, and this is a targeted campaign to make me look bad. That's what Drake was looking for. The judge says, well, we utilized the articles that pre-exist the battle. We utilize the coverage of the friendship that you developed with Millie Bobby Brown when she was 14, you were 32. And we were able to conclude that the talk of a suspicious relationship around minors at least pre-existed anything that Kendrick Lamar said. Not to say that he had relationship with minors, but the fact that the conversation around your name in this fashion was already happening. So Kendrick did not create this narrative. Kendrick did not pay these writers off to cover his song and say, look at this. People were already saying, look at this. All Kendrick Lamar did was reinforce the rumors in his song, which he was protected based on opinion, non-actionable opinion, right? And of course, for everybody that's sensible, all the reasonable listeners out there, thank you, Judge. I know I don't got to explain this to y'all, but I want to just make it very clear so that the record will reflect, especially as somebody who's being archived on the internet utilizing this channel. It's very important to me to be as clear as possible in these moments. Now, as for Drake's claim of second-degree harassment, right? The judge basically said that New York law does not recognize civil actions for harassment in so many words. And I'm summarizing, right? They basically reserve harassment for criminal law, not civil. Now, what Drake and his legal team did was they tried to use the lyrics from Kendrick's Not Like Us, the video, and the image from the cover art for the song to paint the picture that Kendrick was literally using his music as in Not Like Us as a call to target Drake through violence. Basically, in what they were saying, they felt like Kendrick Lamar was green lighting Drake for open violence. Basically, like, if you see this nigga, punch him in his face, shoot him, do whatever you want to him on sight. Nowhere in Kendrick's songs did he say that, but Drake and his legal team tried to twist the narrative, which the judge didn't budge on. Okay? And I'm reading this. I don't have it on the screen, but I'm reading this directly from the order. Right? They say plaintiff alleges that the recording, video, and image individually and collectively provide a call to target Drake, including through violence, and the defendant's course of conduct in publishing specific and unequivocal threats of violence has placed plaintiff in reasonable fear of physical harm. And they try to make UMG liable for publishing it. As in, they understood what Kendrick's intention was, and they gave him the opportunity to go forward with it. So they would inherit that liability. Judge says, accordingly, plaintiff fails to state a claim for harassment. Okay? So that's the second piece that most people don't even talk about, right? They honed in so heavily on defamation that they didn't even pay attention to his other baseless claims. And finally, as it pertains to his third claim of New York General Business Law Section 349 violation, right? Deceptive practices for consumers, the judge didn't budge any differently there either, right? Because Section 349 prohibits deceptive acts or practices in the in the conduct of any business, trade, or commerce, in the furnishing of any service, right? So Drake was basically saying that UMG and Kendrick Lamar were out here paying content creators to put out a certain message about Drake, right? Or you go to the Spotify, the iHeart, they felt that UMG were cutting side deals with these companies to further push this song that was allegedly harassing and defaming him in order to have a competitive edge in the marketplace to make the song more popular, which to Drake, he said also affected him negatively because for every 100 million streams that Kendrick Lamar got, it meant that people weren't listening to his music. Therefore, his royalties were decreasing, which makes no sense because you can't confidently confer that, oh, every minute that they spend listening to Kendrick Lamar, they would have been spending listening to me. That is hubris. That's ego. That's lying to yourself. Furthermore, the judge said that Drake did not provide any proof, which also is a huge problem, right? He created this long ass lawsuit, amended it, resubmitted it, long as fuck, and nowhere in his lawsuit did he provide any proof. His whole foundation was on information and belief, meaning I think they did this. But he had zero proof. All he had was tweets, YouTube comments, Joe Budden audio clips, and a reference to the DJ that don't spin for a statement that had been rescinded a year ago. The judge said, it's not enough. Not enough. So again, I just want to make this crystal clear. You know what I mean? I know we spent over an hour reading through the 38-page filing from the judge, and sometimes things can get lost in translation. Things can be misconstrued. You can easily just all out forget. So I'm like, all right, in a more concise, shorter video, let's address what really was said by the judge and just stick to the talking points without all the legal jargon, the mumbo jumbo, the case law references and all that stuff. Let's just address this stuff head on so the idiots out there or the people that just happen to miss it can be clear. But again, go read the 38-page filing for yourself on your private time. Take all weekend to get through it if you need to. You know what I'm saying? Don't rush. Like, really, read it. Now, following Drake's legal team coming out and saying that they plan to appeal, UMG spoke to Billboard briefly, and they said from the outset, this suit was an affront to all artists in their creative expression and never should have seen the light of day. We're pleased with the court's dismissal and look forward to continuing our work successfully promoting Drake's music and investing in his career. The end of my video yesterday, I was wondering what the future held for Drake. I still wonder what the future holds for Drake, because although that is a great PR public statement, I wonder how smoothly things are actually going to go between Drake and UMG moving forward after he pulls this type of stunt, after he costs himself and the label excess of millions of dollars for nearly a year straight fighting litigation and allegations, petitions, in Texas and New York a federal lawsuit, and he still lost after losing the battle and a lot of support from general fans. Of course, he has a lot of fans, but the general public, for the most part, a lot of people are divided. Some people don't care. They just want the music. Other people are looking at it like, man, this nigga went out sad. Like, yeah, you lost the battle. But by now, honestly, this thing could have been kind of dying down had you just lost the battle. Even Friday Ricky Dredd, who's been out here doing tricks for the OVO in Canada for the last year, says, real talk, bruh. You forced us to care about this shit for way longer than we wanted to because of a dumbass lawsuit. We rationalized, goalposts moved, and gave you the benefit of the doubt. Now the case is dismissed and you fucking with Canada's reputation. Enough already. We're over it. So I'm guessing that's how he felt once he got word of Drake trying to appeal and prolong this process rather than just accepting another loss. But what I find to be extremely interesting is for Friday Ricky Dredd, who I don't know his personal age, but he looks like a man that's in his late 40s, if not 50s. I don't understand why you would rationalize goalpost move and give him the benefit of the doubt as an elder statesman who should have known the fuck better. And now you say he fucking with Canada's reputation, which, what reputation did Canada have in hip hop? And that's not a shot to Canada. Much love to Canada as a whole. I don't got no problems with y'all. But honestly, what reputation is Drake ruining for the people of Canada? If anything, he ruined your reputation because you hinged so much of it on his success. The back and forths that you've done with other content creators when it didn't call for it, because you wanted to be on the side of, I guess, your hometown hero rather than the side of sensibility and logic. Now you looking dried out. And now we get to the DJ that don't spin. Now, he's been a dedicated Drake fan who's also been very much against this lawsuit for quite some time. He's done numerous streams, interviews with Vlad, the whole nine, saying he denounces this lawsuit. He never understood it. He understood why Drake would have felt like he could have a case, but overall, he's never actually supported it. Now, he supported his platform, No Spin TV, on the other hand, has been very supportive of the lawsuit, but himself, no, right? Which is strange. But here's what he had to say after the news broke yesterday.
On this entire thing. This was always a weak-ass lawsuit from the get-go. I like Drake. This is a weak lawsuit. It's a weak lawsuit in the fact that, again, if you listen to diss music, I don't like that there was a false allegation put against my guy. It was false. But such is the case with hip-hop. People call people R-words. People say really nasty things about each other. So the idea of suing the publisher, and I kind of look at it like in a media sense, you're suing the publisher, which, at first he was going at DSP's radio and UMG. They would be the publishers of said material. I thought he should have sued Kendrick Lamar. Now, what do I think about the decision? I think this was going to be a landmark precedent case. And I'll give you an example. I just went to federal court, and Meg Thee Stallion and them, they got me in federal court. And
we're going to get to that too.
During my deposition, they asked me a question. They said, yo, how'd you get this DNA report that you tweeted? My exact answer was, I wouldn't tell y'all even if I knew. Then I said, I don't recall. In the hearing that I went before the judge, shout out to my man Brendan Day, the Honorable Judge Brendan Day.
This nigga called the judge his man.
He pointed out that while making his ruling on the order, which if you don't know his ruling is that I'm going to sit for another short deposition, but they can't ask about Drake's stake and Nicki and all the stuff. They got to keep it to this one particular subject or follow-up questions regarding it. But I'll tell you why I told you that. I told you that because this becomes landmark situations. In the motion with me, the judge made it very clear. He actually went on like a 5-minute like soliloquy saying, hey, Mr. Allen, what we have here in New Jersey is called a shield law that protects journalists and media companies. He says, hey, listen, I'm not making a decision that will be that any other future cases should look back at this case to see how I treated either you as a media company or newer media people that might be streamers. There's a lot of precedents. That's how court works. If one judge says this behavior results in this, usually most other judges, when queried with a similar decision, they'll make the same or the similar choice. Okay? So that's important. Now, it works opposite for Drake. Because if Drake motion, well, you know, it could have still went to trial. But what this motion definitely said is that it's not going to protect people in a rap battle from getting your feelings hurt. And had they said there was merit to this case, I would imagine that we would see much more lawsuits fly off. Because, yo, you call me fat in a diss song. You said this about my relative, or you said that about whatever that caused me emotional damage. I need some money. And from what we could see is that the judge in this Drake situation is categorically denying and will not make it what he doesn't want to start a precedence that anybody who gets dissed. Now, I got to keep referencing Drake fans because they always lose me when I'm speaking to them with this one point. Because they're always saying, nah, man, it ain't the same. Yo, that ain't the same as somebody calling you a PDF. Well, under the eyes of the law, somebody calling you fat or a PDF, while they might have different weights and values in how it could be, how both of these, you know, insults or whatever could probably proportionately affect your career or your business. On face value, it's disrespect, right? So the point is, if they allowed or they said Drake's legal battle is all the way fine, and this even goes to a trial, you know, we don't even know what might happen there. What ends up happening is everybody's going to get sued because you have now opened Pandora's box. So I believe the judge didn't want to open Pandora's box and basically said to Drake, yo, this was this person's opinion more than it was a representation of the facts. So because of that, defamation, which requires a bunch of things, not only it requires malice, it requires malice. You got to be able to prove the damages that this deposition, or not deposition, this defamation has caused. And with all of those things, you could get a favorable look in a defamation case, right? But this judge stopped at this first checkpoint here and said, yo, this is opinion. Now, I disagree with it. I don't believe some of these things are only just kicked as not necessarily, this is my opinion and whatever. I think Kendrick kind of puts a little bit more muster in it to kind of make it look like, bro, this guy did some shit. I'm going to be honest with you. The judge.
All right. So that's the DJ that don't spin. And let me bring myself out of the corner here. The main point is that he never supported the lawsuit, said it multiple times. He tried to give a further explanation. And for those of y'all that have been tuned in and sat through that explanation, it just drives the point home from the earlier part of my video breaking down the specific reasons why the judge said no and dismissed it is because of really that whole little piece he just did. Misinterpreting, uh, mislabeling, right? He said that he disagrees that it's non-actionable opinion, but based on what the judge is saying, it's non-actionable opinion, not just off of the fact that it's opinion, but because if Drake decides that he wants to um, claim that Kendrick Lamar is speaking facts, then at that point, he would be admitting that he is a PDF. Now, of course, there's other information out there that could suggest that very same conclusion, those old videos, that tour footage, etc., right? But on its face, if Drake concedes that Kendrick Lamar is speaking undisclosed facts, then that would be an admission of guilt on his part anyway. So there's that. Plus the fact that it was a rap battle of them going back and forth. So this isn't something that is just an isolated event or an isolated attack on his character, which is another reason why it was dismissed. And the last thing I want to do is just give my unsolicited advice to the boy. I don't think you should. Hey, you can appeal it all you want, whatever. Prolong it, not the wisest move, but you've already set that in motion with your legal team. It hasn't been filed, I don't think, but they will. Don't proceed with the Iceman at this moment, right? Unsolicited advice, honestly. Hold on to that bullshit till next year. Give people some time to cool off. Give your fans a little bit more to anticipate. Get back to the drawing board. The music you've been putting out is definitely stale crackers. You know, go back to the drawing board. Get some fucking writers. You know what I mean? And try again. Now, do I believe that you're going to be successful? Regardless of what you do. Depends on what you believe is success. You have a fan base of people. They probably are going to get you to chart. Or even if it's just for a short period, I'm sure they'll get you to chart. You have a lot of fans. But the ubiquity that you previously had in this game, in this music space, it's over. Okay? So I think you should also adjust your expectations going into your next venture. The days of you being the undisputed number one guy is over. The streams are not going to dictate it. The charts are not going to uphold you. The people will not uphold your name. The credit on your name has been greatly diminished. So the best thing that you could possibly do, once again, as I suggested last year, is go insular. Go introspective. Evaluate where you've been fucking up. Perhaps do some therapy. They say you was going to therapy and your therapist got tired of, you said it yourself in one of your songs, got tired of your materialistic ass views. So perhaps go do the work. Come back healed. You and your little cronies all year have been playing, since last year, have been playing all these games. The truth will be revealed. We got all this up the sleeve. We're playing Pinocchio games. All that shit fared not in your favor. So it's time to do some growing up. All right? And next time, don't listen to your mama, because that's probably who told you to fucking sue in the first place. Stop listening to her. All right? Maybe she could give you better advice in other areas of life, but keep your mother out of your rap affairs. Okay? Let's set that. Now I will conclude. Okay? Let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Yeah, family over fame in this bitch, yeah. The glory of living righteous is setting in. My street knowledge and education's a perfect blend. Young mogul, independent, I've been setting trends. The first one from my family to be faithfully wed. Fuck niggas and the horses that they riding on. I see this shit from all angles like a polygon. I'm never politicking, the drama be piling on. Father and great son acknowledged like I'm Bobby Bonds. Conversation with my lady about the paper route. 5 sit bank accounts, every day I make it count. They down talking my commentary for hating now. Well, I can take it cause I'm bodying your favorite now, please. I can do this shit in my sleep. I been writing for these niggas, y'all read it and weep. I been fighting these niggas if you speak on the street. I turn your birthday party into New Year's Eve. Don't let me take it there. We ain't playing fair. This the ATL, Southside nigga moving furniture like Wayfair. Life on hold, no insurance for your healthcare. Lifeline gone, so you wanna be a millionaire? Well, let me tell you about this world I built. The women I dodged, the niggas that I read for filth. The sympathy calls, consulting for the stakes I built.